Morning, everyone, and welcome to this briefing at the Jerusalem Press Club. I'm Talia, Dekel-Fleissig, CEO. On Saturday night, 6 months and a week exactly since the beginning of the Iron Swords War, the Islamic Republic of Iran launched a highly publicized, coordinated attack of strike drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles towards Israel. Joining us today is Navy Commander retired Dr. Eyal Pinko, Senior Research Fellow at the Begin Sadat Center of Strategic Studies, and a researcher and lecturer on intelligence, cyber, national security, and maritime security. Just before we begin, I'd like to show you a short clip from JPC, from a JPC briefing in the first days of the war.
Still, the IDF and the internal security services and the police forces are looking for more than 300, probably more than 300 commando operatives from Iran and Hamas that are inside Israeli territory. More than 300. I want to emphasize, this is not a Hamas operation. This is Iranian operations. We see and we heard videos of commando operatives that are inside Israel speaking in Farsi.
Okay, so first of all, Dr. Pinko, thank you for joining us. How do you feel about your assessment half a year down the line?
Yeah, first I see myself over there exhausted after many days without sleep. And I think from the beginning it was pretty clear that Iranian, everything was directed and built by Iranian Quds Force and Revolution Guard. And we see that more and more. We see that from the Yemen side with the Houthis attack. We see that from the attacks coming from Iraq, from the militias over there. And we see that, of course, from Hamas and Hezbollah. So we see now the whole picture popped up, and everything is, I think, pretty obvious.
All right. Well, you've been monitoring Iran, of course, its policy in the region since long before October 7th. But could you maybe elaborate on what was different about Saturday night's attack in terms of everything that you knew about the regime up until now?
Yeah, I must say, as you said, I know Iran for many years as an intelligence officer in various organizations, and as well as I did my PhD also on Iran, another perspective. And I must say that this is totally abnormal behavior of Iran, because the Iranian doctrine, the Iranian philosophy is what we call a non-contact warfare or indirect warfare. And it means that Iran is not fighting directly with its enemies. Iran sending someone else to die, to sacrifice himself as Hamas, as Hezbollah, as I said, the Yemen Houthis. And the way that Iran was directly firing missiles and drones towards Israel, this is totally abnormal behavior of Iran in this manner.
All right, so turning over to the Israeli side, how do you think Israel views this situation strategically? Of course, Israel was able to intercept most of the projectiles, as well as the allies that participated in the efforts as well. What do you think is going on right now in Jerusalem in terms of, the next steps ahead and what strategy it should be taking?
Yeah, there are many assessments of what is going to happen. There are many voices inside the Israeli government saying that Israel should react against the Iranian attack. If we need to maybe to adjust or remember 2 weeks ago, Iranian highly ranked general was killed in a building near the embassy. I spoke yesterday with many people from foreign media. They told me, yes, but Israel hit an embassy. So the answer is no. First, Israel didn't take any responsibility for the assassination of this general, and he was not stayed in any kind of embassy. He was near the embassy. So the reaction from Iran came as a retaliation for this killing of the general. And as I said, in Jerusalem, there are many voices calling to react, because if we understand the cultural point of view of Iran, Iran understands that after this kind of attack, even though 99% of the projectiles were destructed, even though Iran see this kind of operation as a huge success. It doesn't matter because let's say that 50 or 60% were intercepted in Iraq and in Syria. The other were intercepted in the Israeli borders. There was one projectile that fell in Air Force Base, causing almost no damages. But from the Iranian perspective, this is a victory. This is not something which is a failure. And then now, people want to escalate the situation in order to show Iran that they cannot do whatever they want. I do believe that because of the U.S. aid and the British as well, the pressure on Israel will be such as not to react at all. Israel is ready to react, but I think nothing will happen. This is my own belief, even though I'm always saying that in the Middle East, you can always forecast the past. You cannot forecast the future. So I think that the next day or two, everyone here is very under huge tension. I do believe if there will be something, it will be in a very soft way, something like a cyber attack or something like that. There will be from my assessment for now, and some kind of kinetic reaction.
So your field is less on Israeli society itself. So we're not going to open up the discussion of whether politically the Netanyahu government needs to react in order to appease its constituents. But if you're looking at it from an Iranian point of view, from the point of view of the Islamic Republic, can Israel afford not to react in a way that will deter them? Israel lost quite a bit of deterrence on the 7th of October. Is this not one of the considerations that should be taken when the country was under direct attack from Iran for the very first time?
Yeah, there is always, like, we drive on the road and we say it's better to be smart than to be right. I think the right way, the right way to go ahead is to attack Iran, to show the deterrence, to bring back the deterrence, as we do with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is attacking, we are attacking back and all. I think in this situation now, it will not be the right way to go. I think it's not good to do that. It's not smart way to do the things. Because first we need to remember that the IDF is still in the Gaza Strip. There are plans to go into Rafah to eliminate Hamas military capabilities, which I think it's much more important for the Israeli security, the tactical and strategical point of view. So now to go to escalate it and to go back to Iran, because I don't think it will be smart, because Iran will react again, and it will become like an avalanche. I think we don't need it now in the Israeli situation. We understand if it will go there, Hezbollah will join much harder into this game, and I think it will open a global campaign, because U.S. and the UK will not stand aside, France as well, and this from the other side, Russia and China. And it'll become a situation that I think the world cannot afford itself now. And in this manner, I think that we should be smart and not right.
So, I mean, you've already touched on the issue of Gaza and Rafah. Do you think that the show of support that the international community gave in the attacks on Saturday night, especially considering the direct involvement of some of them, indicate any change in the support that Israel might have in an extensive operation in Gaza, specifically in Rafah, or are we where we were a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I think mainly the Israeli-American relationships are something like a sinus wave, and it reminds me like a case of a man and a wife and a husband. You cannot with and you cannot without. I think that the Israeli-American relationships are solid through the years and didn't change, and it has some kind of fluctuation. Biden administration at the beginning of the war, the help that we got from them was amazing, with support in the UN, which is totally against Israel by its decisions, with support with ammunition and many other things. Even in the beginning of the war, if you remember, the U.S. Navy, the Sixth Navy, was in front of the Lebanese shores in order to show the flag, saying, we are here, don't attack Israel. So I think the support from the Biden administration is amazing and solid. During the last few months, mainly, because of the Muslim Brotherhood pressure from the inside of the U.S., we see that there are some kind of valse dancing with Biden. He needs to satisfy his voters, and he is looking towards November to the election. And from the other end, he supports Israel. So this is some kind of a dance to show empathy to the Muslim Brotherhood and at the same time to Israel, which is totally contradictory. Even the initiation of the floating port, which I believe it will not go anywhere, but another showing off that the Biden is doing things. So, but at the end, in the average, I think that the Biden administration helped a lot Israel, showing the U.S. support and mainly showing the unity and between Israel and the U.S., which is solid during the years.
Do you think that these developments are going to impact the international community's policy surrounding Iran's nuclear plans? Do you think the events of Saturday night will have any impact on plans for sanctions? Will players think twice before re-entering a nuclear agreement? Do you think that there's a connection between the issues?
First, I think maybe to emphasize, Israel intercepted more than 350 different type of missiles and drones, including ballistic missiles and cruise and etc., as you said. If one of them, or for example, the ballistic missiles were equipped with nuclear warhead, we had to deal with totally different story. So the fact it was not just a simple conventional warhead, it put us in a very more convenient place. It's not nice, but it's more convenient. But with a nuclear warhead, we will be in a totally different story. From some reason, I believe that it will not change the EU or the world opinion towards the Iranian nuclear facilities and nuclear military program. I do believe that soon we'll go back on track and it will be forgotten. And we need to remember that according to the UN estimation 2 years ago, May 2022, Iran already have the military nuclear capabilities. So I think it's already there. It's a matter of using it. And the issue now is to try to counter as much as we can those capabilities. I think that the world will go to his own business and it will be forgotten very fast.
One reporter is asking again on the issue of deterrence. If you can talk a little bit about the fact that Iran is very vocal and public about its intentions and about its specific actions, whereas Israel very rarely takes responsibility for its alleged strikes that are always reported by foreign sources, specifically that we've seen, of course, in Syria over the last few years and other areas. Do you think that this is a policy that Israel should continue to adopt in the wake of such a verbal and public confrontation?
Yeah, Israel took a decision in 2002. 22 years ago, while Prime Minister Ariel Sharon was there with Dagan, the former head of the Mossad, to go to a shadow war, which means to fight the Iranian nuclear military capabilities, which including also the cruise missiles and ballistic missiles program below the shadow, to do things without declaration. And I think those efforts will continue. And for Israel, it's better not to go to the public and speak about bragging what Israel can do and cannot do. I think playing the game below the shadows bring more deterrence. And even though you're not going to the public and it affect less the public opinion, it's better to do this way. For sure, Israel doesn't do a good job when we go to the public opinion and the influence of showing what under which type of life we have with the rockets and attacks that are constantly since we left the Gaza Strip. So it's better to do that and not to go public. This is my opinion.
All right, and just a few more questions as we wrap up. One reporter is asking about the participation of other states, including Jordan itself. We saw those pictures of Jordanian pilots even taking part. Do you think this is something that will impact Iran's ability to, be the large player in the area that it intends to be within the Muslim world? What should we be making out of this participation of moderate Sunni states or otherwise?
Yes. First, I would like to say that I was totally surprised from the Jordanian act. And I think that it comes from two sides. The first one, Jordan is pretty much depends on the US. And most of the Jordanian military equipment and platforms are American platforms. And this is something that I believe that the US came and told the Jordanian king to move forward with that to help Israel. Secondly, if you see what is happening in Jordan, Iran in the last few years, especially in the last year, is trying to involve in what is happening in Jordan. Iran is trying to mess up with social media, with the Palestinian over there in Jordan, and trying to shuffle the cards inside Jordan. The king understands it well. So even though the king is on the media, is speaking about the East Jerusalem and Gaza Strip and all, he is afraid of what is happening inside his country. But you see that below the shadows, once again, we go there, that below the shadows, the cooperation between Israel and Jordan is a very good cooperation in the economical world, in the military intelligence. So the connections, the ties are very strong. And also, Jordan is also worried about the Iranian involvement as a Sunni country against the Shia. And we also, if we look on a broader aspect of what is happening within Hamas and Israel, we are only players on the chessboard. And the chessboard between I will say two dimensions. One is the dimension of the war between the West and East, the bloc, the Russian, Chinese, Iranian, North Korea, and Pakistan bloc, with the other bloc, which is European and NATO. This is one dimension. And the second dimension is the war in between the Islam, which is between the Shia countries led by Iran and the Sunni countries, as Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, UAE, Jordan, and Morocco. And you see the Abraham Accords, which brought prosperity to the region and peace to the region until the murderous Hamas attack on October 7. So I think this is also part of this multi-dimensional war between the East and West and the Islam.
You're also a naval expert, and of course, we saw a couple of days ago before the Saturday strike. We saw the attack, trying to take over the ship in the waters, and of course, we had between 2019, I think it was in 2021, a kind of standoff between the U.S. and Iran in the Gulf. Do you see this repeating itself anytime soon because of the developments happening now in the region, or are we far away from that?
I will say that since the 80s and since the Iran-Iraq war, Iran understands that blocking the Straits of Hormuz, this is something like a very strategic point of view. What we call it a choke point. 30% of world oil goes from this choke point, from the Hormuz Strait. And Iran, whenever there is some kind of tension, for many, many years, Iran just saying, I will block the Hormuz Strait. And they did in the last few years a little bit more aggressive moves as attacking ships even in the Oman Gulf and things like that. So this is Iranian behavior, and every time there is some kind of tension, Iran does it to show the flag, as we say in the Navy, showing the flag and saying that be aware, we can block this area. And once again, the Sunni countries against Iran over there, and it's something that we will see keep on repeating, taking off ships out of their course, blocking the Hormuz Strait, attacking ships in Oman Gulf. It's a regular thing over there.
Okay, one journalist is saying that while he knows that you oppose a response to Iran, not oppose a response to Iran, that a larger one, and you're more for a mild one. What is your prediction that the current government will actually do, given its current makeup and own considerations?
Yeah. As for now, as I said, that the dynamics in the Middle East is so high that I don't want to forecast for the long period of time. But as for now and with the Biden administration pressure, I believe that it will be very not likely that Israel will make some kind of aggressive retaliation against the Iranian attack. It can be some kind of a soft, or from zero, or from nothing, goes to some kind of soft reaction, some kind of cyber attack, or attacking any kind of Iranian infrastructure in Lebanon or in Syria. I don't think it will go more than that. I think this will be the maximum action that will come from the Israeli side.
Okay, and just one last question that has come in. Do you think there is a chance of MEAD, the Middle Eastern Aerial Defense, being upgraded to a full-scale defense alliance like NATO, or alternatively could come in the format of a clause in the Abraham Accords, updated version? Is that something that you think is potentially possible?
Yeah, see, first, there is a treaty between the US and in Israel for aerial defense, and you see that immediately the 5th and the 6th Navies came to the region in the Middle East and the Red Sea to enforce the aerial defense. So it goes many years back, I believe something like 30 years back. So this is stable, and we saw it that it's happening in real time last Saturday. Israel is participating in some of NATO's activity, and Israel wills to help any NATO country. You saw even Germany bought the aerial defense systems from Israel, and Israel is with NATO is willing to participate and take part in technologies, in know-how in other areas as well. So I do believe this event, with the understanding that the Iranian ammunition and weapons will appear in Russia, as we saw it in Ukraine, I think that this will also enforce the cooperation between Israel and NATO forces.
Okay, I promised that was the last question, but one more has gone in. Just in terms of whether you think that this development over the last few days is a game changer, or we're really just everyone flex their muscles and we can all go back to where we were before.
As for now, I would have guessed that it's a good time to go to a spa to relax and to have some time to relax the mind, because I do believe that with all the things that are going on, Israel will not retaliate, and things will continue. I think the next phase is to go inside Rafah. I think this will be the next Israeli move, and to put aside this event. We spoke about it's a 5 or 350 rockets from Iran, but on normal daily basis, we are facing almost 200 rockets and missiles from Hezbollah. So for us, this is the reality since Israel left the Gaza Strip. So I think this is a small hit in the wing, as we love to say, and we think it will be kept aside, dealing now with Rafah try to understand what will be the next move with Hezbollah. I think this is much more important than dealing with this Iranian event. I think that this is what eventually will happen.
So if we already have you on the line for another minute or so, maybe you can give your analysis of what you think will happen on our northern border, considering the fact that we still have tens of thousands of Israelis displaced, and we're dealing with a direct Iranian proxy on that border too.
Yes, so regarding Hezbollah, I do believe that Hezbollah and Israel don't want to go to this war. Hezbollah is paying some fees to his master, to the Iranian regime. And, he's trying to annoy us, if you can call 100 to 200 rockets per day some kind of inconvenience. And you see that all the reactions are small one, hitting here, hitting there, and we are continuing with our lives. At this stage, while the IDF is in Gaza and Hamas was not finished yet, Israel will not go to a war with Hezbollah. This is my assessment. For Israel, it's not the best. Israel can, but it's not the best solution to go into another front for this moment, especially when the holidays are coming. I don't believe it will be with these two fronts. As I said, the capabilities are there, but the will is not. So I think this is the main issue. We need to remember that Hezbollah is in a very bad situation in Lebanon. The economy is very bad over there. It's under pressure. Even in the last few weeks, Hezbollah forces were under attack from Christian population in Lebanon. He lost his political power as well in the last elections. So Hezbollah doesn't feel well over there. He needs to pay his master the fees and attacking Israel, Iran. And for the other end, he's not feeling well there. So he's dancing, small dances. From the Hezbollah perspective, it's better that Israel will start a war. In this way, you can say, this is not me. Israel starts. And as I said, the Israel will is to finish Hamas and go to peace normalization and not go to a war with Lebanon. And while we are there, I think it will not go to escalation in Lebanon as well.
Okay, Dr. Eyal Pinko, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
We'll do this call in another 6 months to see how you're feeling about what you said today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to my colleagues, Jonathan Beck and Ali Naor, for facilitating this briefing. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.